Well, it's a beautiful morning out here. Good day to try out some old equipment. And the equipment, of course, is this guy behind me. This is a 4-bottom plow. And as you can see, it is by no means new. It's very old. I don't actually know exactly how old it is. I don't actually know exactly what manufacturer it is. There's a little bit of green paint on it, so maybe it's John Deere. Who knows? It could be something else. But what's important is it appears that most of the metal is fairly intact and it doesn't really have any moving parts, at least none that are left at this point. So the good news is it should be okay. What we're going to try to do with this is test it out just breaking up the ground. We want to just try to break up the ground a little bit so that hopefully we can go through it a little faster with our tiller. The tiller does a fantastic job of just grinding the dirt up and making a great seed bed, but it's very slow, especially on unbroken ground. So the hope here is that we can take this through some piece of unbroken ground, break it up a bit, and then be able to run the tiller through it a little bit faster. But let's take a little closer look at it. So as we said, this is a 4-bottom plow. I tried to get something a little bit larger. My tractor is 120 horse, so decent size, so I should be able to pull this without an issue. And as you can see, there's pieces that just simply aren't here. These are the holes where you would put the post to put a cutting wheel. This actually is just even broken. I don't know, somebody must have over-tightened the bolt or something and split it at some point. But we got some other things like, this piece here that would have been meant to set either, depth or angle or something that, yeah, it's really not doing anything at this point. And, somebody attempted some repairs even on this guy over the years. Looks like this plow blade, the end must have gotten a little rough or kind of rusted off in the ground or something like that, and somebody attempted to stick a piece on there. So we'll see how well it holds together. As I said, it was cheap. So that was the reason that we went for this. I want to try to break up some ground and see how this works. I don't really want to spend a whole bunch of money on something new only to find out that it doesn't really work all that well for what I want. So this seems like a decent option to try. And all the metal up top, all the structural stuff up here is this piece is a 1-inch. They all seem fine. I mean, there's even a little tiny bit of paint left on them here and there. So don't know exactly how old it is, but if I was guessing, it's probably 50 years old or so. We'll see. But, people always leave this stuff outside and the rain and weather hits it and everything just rusts away. So this wheel that's on the back, I'm not really expecting much out of. If it falls off while things are going, it's the way it is. We'll see what happens. But either way, we'll get it hooked up to the tractor, get it in the ground, and see if it doesn't fall apart. Well, this should be an interesting test. So I've never run a plow before of any kind, so I'm sure that people are going to watch this and say, oh, he's completely doing it wrong. I probably am, but I'll learn. The other thing is the ground right now is pretty hard because it's actually quite a bit of clay in our soil here and it hasn't rained significantly in, I don't know, probably 4 weeks, maybe 5. So the ground's pretty hard right now. So with that in mind, we're gonna take it to a spot that I actually worked up last year. And then we'll try it there first, see how it goes, because the ground there should be a little bit less hard. And if it works decently there, then we'll take it to a spot that really has not ever been worked up, and we'll see how it goes. But, baby steps. The thing I'm a little bit worried about here is whether or not the tractor's even going to be able to pull it through the dirt at all, because the dirt is so hard right now. I don't really worry about the plow breaking the tractor. I think if anything breaks, it's probably going to be the plow first, which is part of the reason why I bought this used. If I end up destroying it, it's not the end of the world because thankfully it was cheap. It would be really bad if I bought a new one and then destroyed it, so this seems like a better option. So the area that we're going to try first is an area that I worked up last year. I actually had another video on it where I was using the tiller to just, do what I would refer to as a till kill, where you just till it up and kind of hope and let everything die. So that worked for a while and everything did die, but eventually it grew up and I didn't end up planting it. The reason I didn't end up planting it is because the cultipacker that I ordered never came in. It turns out that everything attachments is having some kind of issues. I don't know what it is, but in either case, they've stopped operating and shipping stuff, and it's a big mess. So anyway, that's why my cultipacker didn't come in, and that's why I didn't get this section planted. So I still have dreams that this year I may get this worked up again and may actually get it planted. I actually have all the seed for it now, but I just need to actually get a cultipacker in here so that I can make this a little bit better. As you can see, it's bumpy as all right now. So if I was to work this up again, run it over with a packer, I think I could make it quite a bit smoother and have a lot better chance of seed taking well. So my plan is to do a series of tests. Put it in the ground, try different depths, try the tractor in 4-wheel and not 4-wheel, and just see how it goes trying to pull through and see how well it works up dirt. So here we go. Well, that wasn't too bad. The first 3 are grabbing really well. That last one, not so much. So I'm gonna see if I can adjust the 3-point, maybe put a little bit more of an angle on there, maybe put a little bit more pressure on that last one. We'll see if I can get it to go down any further. In theory, once it goes down, it should, keep going down because the wheel should take it down. So we'll see. Also, I may adjust the top link out just a little bit more to try to see if I can give a little bit more pressure on that one. So see what happens. The other interesting thing there is that there's actually a lot of tree roots there. Had no idea there would be that many there. The closest tree is 30-40 feet away, so they must reach out pretty well from those hackberries nearby. Well, so that didn't go very deep at all. So we'd like it to go probably at least an inch or two deeper than it was. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna do that same thing again with a little bit deeper depth setting. I did kind of like how the first 3 plows were pretty even in how they were digging. Previously, it seemed like the first plow was really a lot further down than the rest. So kind of like the evenness of it. So we'll take another pass with a little bit lower depth setting and see if we can get it in the ground a little more. Well, the first 3 definitely grab pretty well if I put it more in the ground. That last one just doesn't really seem to grab at all, kind of no matter what I do. So I may have to do some reading and figure out how I get that one in the ground. But as far as the first 3 go, even if that's all I get out of this thing, that'll be fine. So the next thing I want to try is actually using the automatic depth control on the tractor, which is based on how much pressure it is and how much it's pulling. So I should be able to adjust that thing so that it'll automatically vary the plow up and down based on achieving about the same amount of pressure there. So let's give that a shot. Well, that worked pretty well. I think that's probably the right way to do it. Start out, put the 3-point control all the way down, and then the automatic depth control, play with that until you get the right feel for the tractor pulling. And then it'll vary it in and out of the ground in order to maintain about the same amount of pressure. That seems to work pretty well. So with that in mind, we've been working in dirt that I worked up probably 9 months ago. So now let's take it over to a section that has never been worked up and see how well it does there. And look at that. We have our first broken piece. There it is. This is a brace that just helps to hold it up and help hold it to the top of the 3-point. So when I had the back end up in the air, apparently that was putting too much pressure on it or something for this really very ancient piece of metal. So anyway, that piece of metal just goes right on this bolt. So I'll be looking to get that off of there, see if I can buy a new piece of 3/8 steel and just, take a piece of probably 3/8 bar, just bend it and have it, hooked to the front here. So anyway, should be able to replace that. But I think we can still try it. We can still give it a shot in the harder ground. That piece shouldn't really do that much unless we're, it's really more for transport support. So we should be able to give it a try in the harder ground. We'll see how it goes. Well, apparently I was wrong, and that piece does actually do a decent amount at pushing the back end down while it's running. So either way, I need to get that fixed before I do any more serious plowing with it. But there is good news here. And the good news is the tractor was able to pull it through the hard dirt. Now, obviously, it'll be harder when all the plows are digging in a little bit more, but still, we can vary that. So at least we're able to pull through a decent amount. So that's good. That means our next project, at least with this thing, is going to be fixing it. So that day will come. I got to get some metal in order to do that. But we have a few more things coming. We have electricity coming, which is the thing that we've been waiting for quite a while. And we've got the utility coming in to do their work, and then we're going to be running some lines through the barn and getting the trailer hooked up for power and stuff. So that's going to be very exciting for us, and we're really looking forward to that. And then, of course, hopefully getting internet out here, which would be very exciting too. So anyway, with all that, we got a lot to do. I have to go make some repairs, and we'll see you soon.